Hello everyone, my name is Loco and welcome to another Diablo video. In this video I'm gonna try and explain to you how to complete the Shadow's Mantle set dungeon in order to either obviously get the achievement or to unlock the Slayer chapter journey and to obviously complete the Set Me Free objective of the 4th chapter. Now this is one of those dungeons that is actually relatively difficult, and I do really quickly want to point out that you're gonna have to adjust a couple of skills. You're not just gonna be able to steamroll through it, at least in my experience. And also, if you're a hardcore player, you can go ahead and die in this dungeon, although I wouldn't really recommend it. But technically speaking, it's not gonna, destroy your character. In this video, I'm gonna try and explain to you what gear you need, what skills you should be needing, how you're gonna get towards the dungeon, and how you should be completing the dungeon once you're actually finally there. Now you have two main objectives when trying to complete this dungeon. First off, you need to make sure you kill people with consecutive impales. And then we also have to make sure we slow down enemies using Shadow Power, which obviously is also one of the primary skills when you're using the Shadow's Mantle set. Now as long as you're trying to attempt this in season number 5 or patch 2.4, you're going to be getting the Shadow's Mantle set for free as long as you're doing the other journey objectives. So the very first thing you do need to make sure of is that you do have the 6 set bonus of the Shadow's Mantle set. Technically speaking, you can go ahead and use a Ring of Royal Grandeur, but honestly, you should just have the set bonus at this point anyway. Now, the skills I find make all the difference. You gotta make sure you have the Impale stuck to the left mouse button click with the Grievous Wounds rune. I was running it on the right mouse button click previously with the Ricochet rune, and it just does not work. Make sure you put the Grievous Wounds on, which is obviously not gonna benefit from the lightning damage. You should still be able to one-shot practically everything in that dungeon. I don't really use the right mouse button click, so you can disregard the bonus right here. And the same actually goes for Vault and Tumble, also not that big of a deal. The other skills that I got selected right now are basically meant to either, take the enemy down from high HP to 0 in just one click, or to make sure that I don't run out of impales. So we got Companion with Bat Companion, which is actually much better than the Wolf Companion, as we'll go over shortly. This is obviously going to regenerate a whole bunch of the hatred that we are going to lose when using Impale. And I also have Preparation with Punishment for that exact same reason. The Shadow Power, I don't really need to select a rune in here, just simply, have it selected because we need to make sure we slow down enemies. As far as the passives go, the two that I would highly recommend is going to be Ambush, which will once again help you nuke down enemies from, 100% to 0 in one click, and the Tactical Advantage to just speed up the process a little bit. Now, there were two things for me personally that were messing up the dungeon quite a bunch. The first thing was obviously going to be the Templar that kept hitting stuff, and it actually didn't allow me to chain my Ricochet properly, and the Wolf Companion was going for that exact same reason. Now, if you're having one of the legendary items equipped that do spawn one of those minions that basically, are gonna be attacking enemies as well, make sure you turn off that ability or that item. I'm just mentioning it because in my case it was messing up the consecutive impales. So yeah, make sure to get rid of all the pets, make sure to get rid of all the followers that you have with you right now, because they're mostly just a liability. Even though they technically should be helping, they just mess things up for me. Alright, so in order to get towards the set dungeon, you need to make sure you're in adventure mode. You need to be traveling towards the Pandemonium Fortress level 2. Now, the actual place that we need to be at is going to be Pandemonium Fortress level 3, so it's going to be a little bit of traveling, so we better just get started with that. Alright, so it may take you a little bit to get over here. This is actually one of the furthest travels you have to do, but once you get here and you're wearing the Shadow's Mantle set, this dungeon should appear. Now, you can click on it once. It says the primary objectives right here. So first off, we need to make sure we chain the consecutive impale hits on 20 enemies 5 times. And then we also need to make sure we slow different enemies with the Shadow Power. Alright, so once we're in the dungeon, it is very important that you activate the Shadow's Power immediately. Obviously, get a little bit of speed boost right here. But you simply gotta be extremely accurate with your left mouse button click. You need to make sure you're not gonna be missing any of those if you cannot all avoid it. On top of that, every now and then, you're gonna have to make sure you click that Shadow Power in order to activate, the slow effect on the enemies, and therefore, get the you know, get the second objective done as well. Now, as you can see, I'm activating my Bad Companion and Punishment just to make sure that I can also get some extra hatred. So right now I'm out of it, which actually doesn't help us very much, but I'm activating it every now and then to make sure that I can keep on chaining. Got the first consecutive command already done, slowing down more and more enemies and just killing everything I can find along the way. Now, sometimes you will find yourself running out of hatred. As long as your gear is good enough, this should not be that big of a deal. But if you're, you know, having issues with that, you may be able to just get the Templar in here and maybe get a little bit more damage out, but it may mess up your impales. Also, if you cannot all avoid it, you should try and make sure to only hit every hero or every enemy only once. If you hit them multiple times, it can also mess up the, the impales. So I'm trying to just make sure I'm hitting everything only a single time. So right now, currently, I have 17 chains. You can always watch it at the buff frame at the bottom of the screen. And just make sure you hit them, you know, over and over and over again. Now, if you miss one of the knife throws, and you're actually not hitting them accurately, you're gonna be in trouble, which is the main reason why I got it mounted or, you know, bound to the left mouse button click, because it does help out a significant amount when, you know, trying to complete this. Alright, so I've just completed both of the primary objectives. You can go ahead and try and go for the, you know, the bonus objective as well, which is actually not mandatory whatsoever, and I don't actually know if I'm gonna be able to make it, although I only need to kill 33 more. Alright, and after a couple minutes, the timer will obviously run out. And you can see I completed the primary objectives, which is the only thing you were really looking for. In this particular case, couldn't find the last couple of monsters, so I didn't get the bonus objective done. But with these, you know, tips that I just gave you, it should be relatively easy to complete the achievement and therefore get, you know, the journey final figured out. I hope this video explained everything that you wanted to know about completing the set dungeon for the Shadows Mantle set. If you haven't already, make sure you'll hit that like button down below. If you want to see more Diablo 3 content, hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!